Hello, y'all. Let's get comfy together. If you could see me right now, you would see me sitting in my little Star Wars comforter, just all like cuddled up in a little ball. I want to do these May predictions like they are personal readings. So I realized in my last May predictions, I did them a little bit too early and we were tapping into still the end of April's energy. So I thought, you know what, let's do a meteor, like in-depth, sit down, have a conversation kind of reading. Let's slow it down and make these as though they are each individually personal readings for your May predictions. So might be a little bit of a lengthy video. We might be here for a hot minute. I don't know. We'll find out. I guess it depends on how quickly the messages are channeled, but okay. I think that's all, actually. I don't know if there's any real announcements. If you are interested in setting up a private reading, these are $45. You can email me at thetemporaltaurus@outlook.com to set that up. And how these are delivered is in unlisted videos on YouTube, in which you'll be provided a private link that only the two of us have access to, and we can comment back and forth in the comment section on that video as well. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into your May predictions. And look at the players that we have on the board, y'all. We have David Bowie, Bill Murray, Angelina Jolie, and Keanu Reeves. Some really icons on the table, in my personal opinion, for the month of May. So that's pretty interesting energy already coming in for the collective. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We have Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. Hello, Group 1. Hey, sister, soul sister. I don't know why that just came into my awareness, or that song just popped out. So here's the thing, Group 1. I feel as though there is going to be something coming into your awareness in the month of May. It's coming in as though there's information that is going to be downloaded to you, a veil going to be lifted, some sort of information that is coming in for you for the month of May, that something that you don't see, and you may not even see coming. But I do feel a little bit in this space, there's like not necessarily apprehension, but there is an awareness. Like the energy is sort of feeling as though we're bracing for impact, right? Like we're bracing for some kind of almost as though we're bracing for a tower moment. The energy that is weird in this space for you, Group 1, is that you almost have a connection in with the energy in which you are kind of aware and cognizant that there's something coming. Now, what that is, I guess we can kind of like peek into it and see what's going on. But I do know that there is some sort of information that is going to be delivered to you in the month of May. Now, what are we going to do for cards here today for these readings? You know what? Why don't we bust into light seers, actually? Let's get colorful today. Okay, what is the prediction for Group 1? What do they need to know for the month of May, please? What does Group 1 need to know for the month of May? Oh, hello, Daddy. Knight of Cups as well coming out there. And then bottom of the decks, you have the decks. I don't know why I said that. Bottom of the deck. Hang on, let's move these over. Keep Mr. Bowie up there by himself. Bottom of the deck. Ooh. Seems like there might honestly be a little bit of a passionate new beginning occurring for you, Group 1. in the month of May, this is going to be a new cycle of life that you're stepping into in the month of May. It is new beginning vibes, very much so. Now, does this exist? Here's the thing. There are parallel storylines running into this space, because for some of you, now listen, before I say this, do not shoot the messenger, please. Okay. For some of you, this could be a situation from the past and having a new beginning in that space, okay? Oh, there are several layouts here that actually could fall into this. So that is one thing. The next thing is that there could be a new beginning in which you are connecting in with this type of energy here, this Emperor and the Knight of Cups. And another, oh, we're just going to go into all of the different scenarios. This won't be confusing at all. And another layout here is that there could be two people in your energy that you are kind of deciphering between. Now, I do feel like there was a period of time in the recent past where you were experiencing quite a bit of internal conflict surrounding a connection, or surrounding at least the way you are within connection. So even if it was just a reflective state on self, and kind of being in that space of, oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm not cutting off that bottom row, because I do that all the time, y'all. We're all right. It's all right. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. What was I saying? There was self-reflection. So being in a space of really looking at self as though there was things that needed to be worked on or tweaked, or sort of patterns of behavior even that had come to the forefront in the recent past in regards to a connection. And in the month of May, it's sort of like a passionate new beginning. These things that were kind of rooted in the process of assessment, in the process of like looking into self and trying to understand our own patterns of behavior, and really being able to kind of zoom out and look in on that, and really kind of walk away from any lingering sort of patterns of behavior, or walk away from anything that realistically wasn't necessarily serving you, is moving you into union energy with an Emperor type energy, and somebody who comes in with, who can be a little bit more emotionally fulfilling for you. Now, there is a hit here as well, is that there could be some internal conflict actually surrounding differing energies coming into the month of May, and being in this space of starting new and being in a union type energy. I do feel that for the group 1 collective, there has been a consistent pattern of having multiple energies in your awareness. I do also have the King of Wands on the bottom of the deck as well. And so there could be a decision that realistically needs to be made in the month of May on trying to figure out where the abundance lies within different spaces, and how we can move forward in that area. And this can provide a little bit of internal conflict that you're going through. Now, for many of you, though, I feel like this is actually new energy. Well, I don't know. In some respects, it feels new, but I guess the aspect that could feel a little bit the antithesis of that is realistically the energy that we're in and why we're there. So being sort of connected into energies that we experienced in the past, and then bringing those into new moments, or kind of going through this space of internal conflict in regards to connections that we had experienced in this past. But ultimately, like, the interesting thing though is that the energy in this collective is about a gut feeling. Okay, so that's like the major energy that comes through in the collective one space, is that you're going to be in a position in the month of May to really be utilizing your own intuition in terms of, it seems as though specifically in regards to connections. What is fulfillment realistically? What is fulfilling? Who is fulfilling? And how do they operate? You realistically may be in a space of sort of determining what kind of energies are good for you and how they operate, and really having a moment of reflecting in on situations that you've previously been through in certain connections in certain spaces, and then utilizing that to make decisions in the present in the month of May. But ultimately, I mean, just because I feel like some of that is a little bit worrisome, but there is like something that is going to put you in a space of having to utilize your intuition and having to utilize your gut instincts, right? Like your gut, that gut feeling that you have, because that's the energy that I'm in this moment, is feeling like having to really connect in with myself to be able to trust myself is kind of the energy that comes into this space. And so that's going to be called to question, is like, what have you learned realistically? Like, what have you learned in these patterns of behavior, these old patterns of behavior, these old cycles of behavior, and which ways are you moving, maybe from, emotion or our senses more so than our logic and our ability to sort of zoom out and look at things. But there is going to be something, again, that's coming in for you that you don't see in this moment, that is going to be highlighted for you in the month of May. We'll get into that a little bit more. For some of you, I do want to say that there could be some people coming back from the past. I just have to throw that out there. And I know that not everybody wants to hear that. I've said that, and people are like, I don't want anything to do with my past. The past is in the past. And it's like, yeah, well, that's probably why there are like overlapping narratives coming into this space. Because sometimes, in my opinion, y'all, group one, is that it doesn't always necessarily mean that somebody is coming in from your past. It could be that the energy that you were in the past is being called into question in the present because of things you experienced in the past. So it's not necessarily like they are physically coming in, but the energy that you experience in that space is coming in to kind of help you navigate present spaces. And these are things that you did learn from the past, right? And so there's also that sort of way of looking at things as well. Okay, what else do we need to know for the group one space? What is this like unknown territory? You really could be moving into a union in May. And here's that sort of veil being lifted, things coming into balance. Information is going to be a big thing for you in the month of May. You might even be in a space where there are sort of energies or situations that are really pining for your attention, or even just kind of peeking in on you to see what you're up to. You may be experiencing quite a bit of that in the month of May as well. You have down here at the bottom of the deck, King of Swords, Ace of Wands, Nine of Wands. Here on the top row that came out, Two of Cups, Ace of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, and the Wheel of Fortune. Now, okay, that's interesting. Did you hear I quivered saying the Wheel of Fortune? That was odd. This new beginning may be something that you have a little bit of apprehension about. This new way of looking at things, and this forward momentum in regards to what you learned from the past might be something that your intuition gets called into question pretty strongly in the month of May, where you really have to go within and assess something for what it is. I do feel that there is going to be an energy coming in for you, an external source actually, that's coming in with some information for you. This is going to expand your awareness on a specific situation or experience that you had in the past. That is sort of coming full circle for you. That is something that I feel like is is moving into energetic alignment, where remember that, and interesting that you have the moon as well, that everything, what is it? What is in the dark will always come to light, right? So any of that information that is sort of buried in the surface and buried in the muck or buried in the dirt, eventually that erodes through time, right? And it makes its way up to the surface, and that light always comes out. The truth always prevails. Always. It is law. And so the truth always comes out, right? Eventually, I know that there are situations and scenarios where I guess like the truth ends up, being gone forever. But at some point, the truth always surfaces. Usually that is the case. And I do feel like for you in the month of May, that is going to be a reality. There is going to be something that comes into your awareness that provides you information that you didn't have previously. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's like, a situation from the past, or you're finding out like the whole truth in a situation. Although it could be that, but it could also be just waking up to an awareness. And now, when you are moving in a sort of subconscious space surrounding a pattern of behavior, and then something comes in that really opens that and lifts the veil for you, and you see the pattern for what it is, and you see it differently, that's another hit of awareness. Okay, that's information being downloaded to you as well. So we don't have to get so specific in assuming that it's going to be somebody from the past bringing in the truth, even though that's what it could be. But it could also be your own self building into an awareness of some sort of pattern of behavior, or some way in which a situation was operated, and now understanding that from a different perspective. Perspective is going to be something that is really big for you in the month of May. You're going to move into a whole lot of awareness in this month. Information that you did not see previously being sort of in the forefront of your awareness. Now, I do feel like there is quite a bit of union energy that is coming in as well in the month of May. So you do have the Two of Cups here, as well as the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles being sort of that give and take space. The one thing about the Six of Pentacles that comes in for me sometimes, especially within the light seers, is really having been in spaces in which we are, there is like not necessarily a whole lot of reciprocity. However, in this deck, in the light seers deck, well, and arguably in many decks, but especially in this deck, these two are sort of, one is kind of giving up and the other one is dropping down. So this is sort of an equal imbalance, and there is the infinity sign moving between these hands as well. So this is a relatively balanced space. But it could be a moment of here with these three energies here, the Ace of Wands, the Nine of Wands, and the Seven of Wands. I do feel like you're going to be in a reflective state through some part of May, and really tapping into kind of understanding the things that you are learning, and also really determining what is best for you. I don't think that you're going to be of an absence of options in the month of May. I think that there are going to be several things on the horizon actually for you that are going to require your brain power, that are going to require you to kind of think about it before moving forward. This isn't a lot of hasty energy here that's existing in the month of May for you. Even though it is on an up current, and the up current really is information, it is still a process in which you are assessing before moving. And that's actually a really balanced space to be in, group one. Okay. All right, I think I know. I feel like I said I was going to do a general overview and then love. And now I'm kind of like, I don't know that I did that necessarily. I do feel like that was kind of a general overview right there for those first two. So let's go ahead and just dive into specifically discussing love. That way we know kind of what you have coming in for love in the month of May when it comes to connections. So what is going on for love in the month of May for group one? There's that King of Cups. The King of Cups in this, in this deck reminds me of a camp counselor. know why. It just kind of looks like it. Love. Okay. Okay. You know what? Some of those, bottom of the deck. Okay, I'm just going to bring out the devil and bring out this as well. Okay, so in the month of May for love, you know, I don't think it was actually that hit about having options or choices and having to really utilize discernment or utilize intuition. I think that has a lot to do with love for you in the month of May. I do think there's going to be, okay, so it's just don't shoot the messenger, y'all. There seems to be two different energies that are going to be popping into your awareness in the month of May. Two people who operate in a very different way. One is going to come in with a lot more emotional fulfillment. One is going to come in with a lot more passion. And there is going to be some conflict surrounding this. This is going to tap you into having to utilize your intuition. Now, group one, I've already said this for you, that there are two people in your energy. And I don't know how this is unfolding, but it is coming out. And I do think that in this moment, yeah, that's kind of the unseen. Because if you have someone in your energy right now, I think you're only dealing with one person in this moment at the beginning of May, end of April. You may have an awareness of more than one person, and you may kind of know who that other person could be, but I do feel like there is somebody coming, there'll be somebody else coming into your awareness in the month of May, and you're going to have to utilize your intuition in this space. Explain the devil. Hold on, with less cards, please. What is, clarify the devil. Oh, goodness, everything is just falling out. Oh, okay. So this is realistically just talking about your control of the situation. So ultimately, I do feel like this is going to be a decision that is up to you. This is going to be something where you are the one here deciding what you want and how that is supposed to look. Now, I don't think that either of these energies are necessarily bad energies. I mean, it doesn't really feel that way. And I feel like if you're in the awareness that you have and you're having, and you're utilizing discernment and trying to pick and choose here, I do feel like you've already been kind of working on self in this space, in the collective one space. So I don't think you're going to be moving at this from an awareness, but I do feel like the thing that you don't see is that assuming that there's only going to be one person that you're dealing with, and actually there may be more. And that seems to be something that is coming in, that there may be some sort of competition among them, or a feeling of competition, or at least in your awareness is that you're kind of going and looking at it and really kind of trying to decide what it is that you want for self and what is best for self in this space and in this situation, and trying to balance that out. Ultimately, it feels like no matter what you choose here, you are going to come out on top. So I do feel like you have decent options in this space, but it is this matter of really utilizing your intuition. And I don't think that this is going to be a super easy decision for you either, unfortunately, collective one. Now you have the ability to sort of shift your awareness and shift, we have free will. So this is something that maybe it doesn't necessarily mean that, you very well could be, you could shift alignment and then shift your path, and then maybe not even have to go down this road. But in this moment and the path that you are on, while you are tapping into this, you are going to be in a space of having to decide between two separate energies. Now, I don't feel any other narrative realistically coming into play within this space. It does really feel like very separate spaces. It could be, I mean, if you're not even remotely in a space of dating or in connections, it could be kind of you determining what it is that is most important to you in a connection as well. That is something that could come in, recognizing, okay, what do I want in a space, and what is it that I really need for self in order to have a fulfilling connection, is something that could be coming in. But for a good majority of you, I actually do feel like you are going to be experiencing a situation where you are choosing between more than one person. Let's go ahead and get you. an outcome for the month of May on sort of like how that's going to look, and then advice. What is the outcome in the month of May for group 1, please? What is the outcome for the month of May in group 1? I think you will be walking away really from external influence. You are going to have a bit of resilience in the month of May in your decision making. You are going to be in a contemplative state, realistically being asked to use your intuition. Here we are again, looking at all of the sort of options that you have. Ultimately, though, and here's the Tower as well as the Empress, and here we are again with that Two of Cups energy. This is big energy, group 1. This is a really big moment. I do feel like it's going to be that you're gonna move through that, having resistance, you know, having the strength to kind of work through it. You're gonna weigh out all your options in this space, and then ultimately make a decision. And whatever decision that you make in this space is going to be fulfilling. This is gonna really open up your heart chakra. It's gonna put you in a space of mutual give and take, and then it's going to move relatively quickly coming through May. Yeah, it does really feel, and I've been seeing different readings talking about this as well, just within collectives that I'm tapping into, that if you have been outside of a union for a while, or you have been single for a while, or you have not been in a connection for a while, this very well could be the month in which you are meeting a counterpart or a serious partner. In the month of May is coming in pretty strongly. And if it's not that, then it is, you know, that you are moving into this really solid relationship with self and being able to utilize your intuition. But for many of you, I actually do feel like you're going to be in a space in which you are choosing a partner in the month of May. Okay. It's like a big overarching message in this space for you, collective 1. Okay, I'm going to get you one card for your advice. And I think what we'll do here is actually use the standard Rider-Waite Tarot. What is the advice for collective 1 for the month of May, please? I said I was just going to do one card. King of Wands. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm sorry, I had to bring this out. This is funny. King of Wands and King of Pentacles. This is very interesting. So you could be really making a decision between the energies that kind of exist in a space that's one's very... Now, here's the thing is they're both leaders. They're both... they both have a real passionate energy. They both have abundant energy, but one is going to be a little bit more, not necessarily stable, but they're going to be a lot more just safe, okay? And one's going to be a lot more passionate. Now, they're both coming in as kings, okay, which is really important here because they are both coming in this energy that is you know, really having sort of been in a space that is done the work, okay? And it's going to have to be a really, this is a big decision that you are going to be making. I really do feel like that, yeah, this is like an energy that feels like it's a little bit, I'm not going to say burdensome, but I don't think this is something that you're necessarily anticipating realistically. I think that's kind of the unseen space here is that, is that there very well could be two very prominent energies coming into your future who are sort of offering you something that feels like it's intended for you, and having that decision making there. And then here we are with this Four of Wands as the outcome as well. Advice on how to understand unity and harmony. Ultimately, I feel like it's going to be, you know, I've heard this too, and I had this in another space too, is that you'll know, it's like when you know, and it's going to be just I don't think it's going to be easy though, realistically. Like, I don't think this is going to be a super simple choice that you are making in the month of May, but I do think it is going to be a fulfilling choice in the long run. So I think that either way, what you choose and however this plays out for you in the timeline of things, like maybe this isn't necessarily two different people, but it's not, it's like what means more to you is also an option here in this space as well. Whatever you choose. Goodness. Sorry, group one. That cut off. I had an alarm go off. It's like, come on now. I know better. Anyway, ultimately, whatever the choice is here, I think it will be fulfilling for you. All right, collective one, sorry that cut off there at the end. If you did resonate into this, I would appreciate it so much if you liked and subscribed to my channel. I'm so close to reaching 1,000 followers, and that's my next goal here. And also, I'd love to have you back and love to have you engaging as well in the comments. I've met some really amazing personalities and characters along the way starting this journey, and I love chatting with y'all every day. It's so fun getting to see the regulars and moving into understanding their personalities and having conversations with them or receiving emails. I really do appreciate your support more than you know, and one of my favorite parts actually is being able to connect with you each day. And the easiest way for me to be able to do that for you is if you follow along for the content as it's coming out. Thank you so much for being here, group one. Enjoy the rest of your day. Group two. It's Bill fucking Murray. Have you seen Zombieland? Oh my gosh. It's like, that's the best part in that whole movie, in my opinion. I mean, let's be honest. King of Cups. Let me just tell you something, group two, in your space. I feel very, how do I explain this energy? I feel very playful in this energy. I want to sit in it. I want to be in it. I want to play around in it. Like, what do you have going on in the month of May? Wow. This is really giddy energy. It makes me want to like, it makes my inner child feel safe. It makes me want to come out and play. It makes you know, the lady in the streets part of me kind of feel like, what's we got going on here? You know, it piques my curiosity. This energy is really interesting. I really like it. So I don't know. Let's find out. We're going to do this as pretty much an overall, well, hold up. The sun just fell out. So let's bring that bad boy out. How we're going to do this, group two, is that we're going to be doing a general read, and then we're going to do a love read, and then we'll get you advice. Okay, so what does group two have going on in the month of May, please? These two wanted to come out. You know what's really interesting? This could really be a me moment. This is a lot of individual cards here, you see? And they're all very feminine. And you got that King of Cups up there, like... And there's that Union card that's like, hold up, shut up. Okay, forget I said anything. Bottom of the deck, you had the Five of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, as well as the Chariot. Now, this seems to be talking about the things that you have really put into work. The spaces in which you've been contemplating as a result of some sort of connection are paying off. This is about like your hard work being brought to the surface. You may have been in the recent past in a space that was really reflective on self and really working more so on what is good for you and what is going to be best for you, and not so much focusing a whole lot of your attention on what is best for others, or that could be the energy that you are stepping into in the month of May. And this does have something to do with a union, or the reason that we're in this sort of reflective state had something to do with a union, or you are reflecting in this way and in this capacity in order to step into union energy. I do feel like there is going to be just a little bit of conflict coming in the month of May, and this maybe has something to do with your stability, but ultimately I feel like you kind of, it's a very quick thing. It doesn't really come in. Actually, what is this Chariot about? Okay, so actually I feel like it's something that you move out of quickly there. This will be a little bit of internal conflict. You may have had a moment or a situation that you were dealing with that did put you into this energy here of really stepping into your individual power. Having the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles come in, this is a really emotionally balanced space, as well as a really stable space in terms of abundance. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily have to be money, but it also could be that, and just balancing out some stability in that space. I do feel like there is going to be a moment of a little bit of internal, just where we're kind of contemplating as a result of a certain connection or something that we had dealt with in the past. However, you also do have the Page of Wands here, and you have the World, as well as the Seven of Pentacles. So really, there is going to be some forward momentum occurring in the month of May, and a new cycle, some seeds and roots that are being planted there with that Seven of Pentacles. This is the work card, like our hard work paying off, putting in the work and being able to see the fruits of our labor. And this very much does have to do with something that you learned from a connection, something that you learned in the union space, and are now utilizing the things that you learned in order to work on self, to step you into a new beginning and put you into union energy. Much of these cards here, realistically, group 2, are very self-motivated, or self-motivated probably is a wrong word, but these are well, yeah, I mean, self-motivated is okay when you're using it in the proper way. This is really about self-preservation, more so, is doing the work on self, and not necessarily really concerning yourself, honestly, with what other people think in that space, which is really good, actually, to get you in a space of wholeness. That'll put you into a space that is really ready for that union energy, too. I'm actually going to do another general forecast for you before moving into the love reading, just because I do feel like that kind of is inadvertently like an overarching message surrounding union for you. What else do we need to know for group 2 for the month of May, for just a general message? Sorry, I had an itch. Maybe that's something that's important. Okay. We have some information coming in for you. This is like a theme in the collective right now, that May seems like an unveiling of information. There's a whole lot coming into your awareness in the month of May. Hello. Coming in on the bottom of the deck here. I do feel like you're actually going to be in a little bit of a reflective state in the month of May. Okay. So anyway, so information coming in. These things kind of balancing out for you a little bit. I do feel like there's some sort of unseen energy that's been coming into the collective as a whole, where things that we weren't really aware of are now coming into service. And I do feel that for you as well. There is some sort of information that's going to get you moving into this pattern in which you are focusing on self, and going into this sort of moment of reflection, and really looking at things and seeing specifically what's balancing here. See this here in the middle here, and this is like a balancing act. This kind of plays out like a seesaw here. On one side you have these ideas and this information coming in, and on this side it's like, what is too good to be true? Here, over here, this is like the pig's fly that damn Page of Cups. And then the Devil card here as well. These are spaces of, you know, these can be energies that are not always providing what they say they're providing, okay? They can really move in that space, especially the Devil card can be a little bit of a manipulation going on in this space. It can also have something to do with self-control as well. But I feel like over here is like the information balancing out is actually going to be surrounding being in energies and being in situations and scenarios in which the other person is legitimately too good to be true because it's not true. And really seeing things and people and situations for what they are rather than what we want them to be. So you may be moving into a space, group 2, in the month of May that is getting you out of expectation or moving for expectation and really seeking concrete solutions and outcomes, not necessarily spending too much time in spaces in which we don't know what's going on, or moving in spaces in which we're not sure if it's deceptive, or it seems like it's too good to be true, but there's other things sort of surrounding it, information being provided to us that is showing us or shedding light on what realistically is not a good thing. And so moving into that balance there. And I do think that you're going to have a decisive moment here actually coming into May where you're going to be looking at things sort of from a bird's eye view and zooming out and looking at a situation. It does seem to have a lot to do with connection though in this space for you in the group 2 in the month of May. So really zooming out and looking at something for what it is rather than what you want it to be is a big thing coming into your awareness in the month of May. I do kind of feel like all of your messages have really just been very honed in on love. So that might be just something that is very important to you in this moment, group 2. And that's fine. But let's go ahead and see what you do have coming in for love in the month of May for you. What is coming in for group 2 for love in the month of May, please? Love for group 2 in the month of May. Yes, it seems like a big theme on self-love. I was just going to say that. I really do feel like the relationship that you may be building upon, group 2, in the month of May is the relationship that you have with self. And really kind of understanding these intimate energies, or maybe the difference between these energies that come in very passionately and they're kind of like, they're a good time for a short time, right? Because they come in, they're really passionate, they're really present, and then they kind of, ooh, look at this new shiny object, and they move on, right? And then they kind of leave you hanging. Knowing the difference and having this kind of emperor type energy come in. Now, this could be actually preparing you for emperor energy, or there could be an emperor type energy coming in for you. Have the 6 of Wands coming out that just fell on the floor. The 6 of Wands. Oh, no, it was definitely not that way. The 6 of Wands is really like standing out. And I feel like this would actually be you standing out in this space. And kind of being in a chosen space a little bit. The 6 of Wands for me is always, you know, it's really interesting because some people see it as like riding in on your high horse. And I actually don't read it that way. I really read it as like, this is the knight that, or not knight, but this is the person that stands out. Like for some reason, there's all these other wands that are around there, but yet you have this one guy that's sitting up on his horse with a wreath around his wand. And it's like, obviously that one stands out in a crowd. Okay, so maybe moving into a space of having done this work on self is now going to put you into an energy in which you are sort of really being sort of the one who is looked at as sort of the prize, okay, in this space. This very well could be 3 different energies as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be that this is like one energy, but I do feel that in terms of love, like what's going to be happening kind of in the month of May is that I do feel like there is some self-reflection that you are doing in terms of things that you experienced within a connection. Ultimately, though, I don't think that it's going to be something that is like overtaking the month of May. I mean, it is important because it's been very it's overtaken this whole reading realistically. So like it is very important to you, but this is what's going to be going on for a good majority of it. Actually seems to be more so building this relationship with self in order to kind of better understand these energies and to move into a space that puts you into union with this emperor type energy. Or, you know, very well could be that an emperor is coming in the month of May as well. But a lot of this seems to be, it just feels a lot less union-y. It feels a lot more self-reflective and really moving into a space of like just understanding what is best for self and ultimately like choosing self realistically. So your biggest relationship, I feel, in the month of May is going to be the relationship that you have with yourself. Now, I will get you one more message as advice from actually the standard Rider-Waite deck on what you need kind of moving forward in the month of May. What is one message of advice to close out this reading for group 2, please? Oh, this kind of guy wanted to step out too. Yeah, you know what? Here's on the bottom of the deck as well as this High Priestess. I know I said one card, but you know, whatever. Yeah, you could actually be in a state of real reflection in the month of May, group 2, where you're kind of what you're sort of reflecting upon realistically is like the spaces in which you've sort of given without anything in return and yet moved through expectation. Is like not necessarily consciously either, moving in a way that you were kind of giving into spaces because that's just who you are, right? And then now moving into an awareness of understanding that not everyone deserves that part of us. You know, not everyone deserves to receive those things from us. And oftentimes it's really when we're giving into spaces where we're sort of validating people who aren't working for it, well, they won't ever move to work for it because they're already being validated without even trying, right? And so that's something that I think that's going to be a big hit of awareness for you in the month of May, group 2. All right, if you resonated in with this, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers, y'all, and that's my next goal. Plus, I love having you around. If you comment and get into the collective and join our tribe, the conversations are really uplifting and fun. And I have to tell you, like, I love seeing the same faces here every day and getting to know people and their personalities. There's quite a few subscribers that as soon as I see their screen name, I know, I just know their energy and their personality, and each of y'all are so unique and beautiful, and I love just getting to know people in this space. It's really wonderful seeing kind of the same people coming in every day and making really positive comments and a positive impact, and we would love to have you here as a part of our tribe, group 2. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Coffee is out. Wah, wah, wah. Never start a reading without a full cup of coffee. Lesson learned. If you heard this little part in between readings, you let me know if you're here. Okay. Group 3. Hello, group 3. Group 3. This energy, you know what? I don't think it's like without purpose that you got Laura Croft coming into your energy, because she's a badass, isn't she? Yes, she is. And I don't think that that is without purpose in this space. Realistically, group 3, popping into your energy, I feel like you are in a moment in May. And I think you've already, oh, look at here. I just shuffled and I have the Empress coming out on the bottom of the deck. We're just going to put that bad boy right in the center here. Yeah, you are in a bit of a me moment in the month of May, not going to lie. The energy coming in for you is real tenacious, real go-getter, real like, I'm just, you're kind of, I don't want to say fed up, but the energy is just very like, try me. It's very, like, you are in your power. Now, I will say that there's a little bit of closed off space in certain areas, but I don't think it's more guarded, and it's just like you kind of had enough with a certain situation. Anyway, all right, let's do your general message for the month of May. What do we got going on for group 4? Group 4 for the general message in the month of May. Yeah, there's that Queen of Wands. Got a lot of passion and fiery energy in this space. Okay, what do we got going on? Here, we'll tap it in here. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of, see how there's no like other people. This is all, first of all, these are all feminines except for the Death card, which is really has no face. But other than that, everything else is coming in with a feminine representation. And so this does feel like it's, for the month of May, I feel like what we're really working on necessarily doesn't have to do so much with other people, but it does have a lot to do with this relationship with yourself and stepping into kind of a new beginning within self, really stepping into honoring your intuition and honoring your gut feelings and honoring how you feel and grounding into that. You're really balancing out in the month of May, really putting in work into self in particular, and sort of getting yourself into the spotlight of your life, like really making yourself the main character here a bit. It's interesting because one of my subscribers said something about main character energy the other day. It's really interesting it's coming into this group 3 collective. I'd be very interested to know if she tapped into this space, because yeah, it is like sort of this main character vibe. Now, these two here, in terms of coming in for the month of May, these conflict and judgment, okay? The Knight of Swords being sort of in personal conflict or individual, internal conflict. I don't think, just by the feelings of this, I don't think this has anything to do with the energy that you'll be sitting in. Okay, the majority of this energy is quite positive. So I think that it's more so going to be looking in at itself and going, man, look at what I accepted here, and look at what I accepted here, and look at the pain that I did, and if I had known this, I wouldn't have done this. So you could have a little moment of sort of beating yourself up just because you're building into an awareness. Information being downloaded in the month of May is a huge overarching message for the entire collective in this space for some reason or another, and you are entering into a new era and a new beginning and a new way of thinking. So you may have just a moment of sort of kind of beating yourself up for how you used to look at things or how you used to handle things, and kind of wishing that you had a little bit more awareness in that space, and now seeing things in a more all-encompassing space and going, duh, you know, just kind of like having a little bit of a moment and seeing that where you kind of were in your own way, or where the patterns of behavior in the past were really not necessarily like what other people were doing to you, but what you were accepting for self. I do, however, feel as though that there is kind of good karma coming into space within these realizations, and recognizing what you used to accept for yourself, and then moving into this new way of thinking, and there's this new pattern of really trusting yourself, and also moving into a space of no longer being in these, like, if it feels wrong, it's wrong kind of thing, and not quite, you know, and just being very decisive about it, moving into this new sort of era of self, and really moving into a space of sort of this all-encompassing space, and really it's really grounded energy. It's really looking at things without as much impulsivity, or without as much self-doubt is a big one. You know, not looking into it with as much self-doubt as you used to. I think at some point you maybe had some quarrels or some struggles with really trusting yourself, and that is maybe some kind of energy that you're sort of clearing out in the month of May. Okay. Now, I do feel like that was kind of a big message. I have been doing more than one general message for the collectives. Actually, you know what? Let's not chip you. Let's do another general message for you. I do feel like that was a really big, meaty one, though. So we'll just do another quick general message before we get into love forecast for you. general message here for group 3. I really do feel like it's kind of repeating the same thing a little bit. This must just could be just a really big theme for you in the month of May, is really being in this space of balancing out even so much of like things that we experienced in the past and how they affected us, and what we learned from those spaces and how we operated in those spaces, and now moving into sort of balancing that out and getting out of realistically this space of self-doubt. You may have a little moment or a little hit of reflection that comes in the month of May where you are kind of zoned in and focusing on this. I do want to give you just a little hit of making sure that you are staying outside of self-doubt, and also outside of guilt in particular. Understanding that the way that we operate sometimes isn't always necessarily innately within us and are innately, a choice that we are making consciously. Once you become aware of a pattern, then you kind of can move into a space of being able to undo a pattern, right? And not and also getting out of space of holding it against yourself. Hold yourself accountable, yes. Accountability realistically is a good way to get out of that. But going into self-doubt or being up yourself, make sure that we're staying out of that energy. Because you are going to be in a space of a little bit of reflecting, surrounding that energy, surrounding some sort of space that this exists in the month of May. And I want to make sure that you don't stay there and you come out of it a little bit. Okay, let's move into your love reading, group 3, for the month of May. I'm very sad that my coffee is not here. Hang on one second. I drank all my coffee. My perpetual coffee woes, I swear. Okay. What is the message for love for group 3? Love messages. It's interesting that this is coming in with 2 different types of energy tapping into this reading that are coming from 2, like one's coming from the perspective of one side and one's coming in from the perspective of the other side. It's really odd. Hang on. We'll get into both, okay? So there was a situation in which there was a missed opportunity of not really, I feel like for the majority of you, okay, it was that somebody did not see you for who you were, and now maybe I don't even know if they're necessarily coming into that awareness, but you definitely were a prize in a certain situation. You were really giving in more than you were receiving, and they could have really alchemized with you. They could have really expanded a situation with you and expanded this, and really been in a space of this fulfillment connection, okay? That is one line. And then the other is just someone being on the other side of that, of not seeing an opportunity for what it was, and sort of seeing, and then missing an opportunity, and then kind of beating themselves up for that, and seeing some kind of information. Here we are again with information being downloaded. So this is like what I just mentioned is kind of past energy. Moving into May, okay, information surrounding that sort of layout, that sort of dynamic is coming in the month of May. And ultimately, you are coming out as this very fulfilling energy of the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Empress, and the Six of Wands, as well as the Queen of Swords. This is a really balanced feminine space, okay? This is somebody who is passionate and decisive and communicative and emotionally fulfilling and kind and mothering and nurturing. You have all of these qualities within you as a feminine. Or if you are tapping into this on this other spectrum, this person that you miss an opportunity with has all these qualities, because it does feel like there very well could be, I don't know why, just some people tapping in that have missed an opportunity and did not see something for what it was. there's also going to be a moment of really walking away from external influence in the month of May, where we are not necessarily giving in so much to what either our friends are saying or even the systems at play, like how things should be and how things should look and how things should work and should. You're getting this information brought into you that, you know, really is allowing you to step into trusting yourself far more in the month of May. That's going to bring you into the union energy. Now, a lot of this does have to do with a relationship with self here that is existing in the month of May for you. So I do feel like the most important relationship that you are developing in the month of May, or that you're working on in the month of May, is the one that you have with self, and really seeing yourself as this really radiant energy that you are, because you have all of these beautiful feminine energies coming into your awareness. And I would argue that with all of that, anyone who is fumbling you is missing an opportunity. Group 3. Okay. Let me get you one more card for like a advice message from the Standard Rider-Waite Tarot. And then that will be the end of your reading, Group 3. What is one sort of... Yeah, there is going to be some information coming in. I do want to bring out these bottom of the deck energies as well, because you do have the Six of Swords here. Is about just like kind of leaving behind old paradigms, leaving behind things that no longer serve us. But also is, in my opinion, sometimes I also see this as somebody who's protecting what's theirs and also moving forward, is another way to read that card, in my opinion. And then you have the Lovers coming in. So connection is really a big thing that's going to be guiding you for the month of May. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be in a connection if you're single and you're not dealing with anyone. But the themes and the things that you are learning and the information that is being downloaded to you in the month of May has a lot to do with connections, okay? All right, Group 3, if you resonated into this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm so close to 1,000 subscribers. That is my next goal. But also, we would love to have you a part of the conversation. I do have many faces on my channel that I see daily, and I would love for you to be a part of that as well. Thank you so much for being here, Group 3. Enjoy the rest of your day. Last but certainly not least, we have Group 4. You got Neo coming in. Group 4. Your energy of this space is a bit of a wild card. I'm not gonna lie. What do we have going on for Collective 4? Energetically, your energy comes in with an air of mystery to it, and that's really interesting that you have Neo here, right, from the Matrix, because I do feel like that energy is a bit mysterious, but also a little bit of even mischievous in a sense, right? Because this is an energy that doesn't necessarily buy into the way that things are supposed to be or the systems that play in, really kind of, it wants to dig deeper beneath the surface and see why things are operating realistically the way that they're operating. It's a very analytical space that we're in this moment here for you, Collective 4. Really dominant energy coming into this space. Okay, so what we're going to do is a couple general messages for you for the month of May. Then we'll do a love reading as well as an outcome, or not an outcome, but an advice card at the end from the Standard Rider-Waite. Starting out, we're going to use Light Seer's deck. So what is the general message for Group 4? General message for group 4. What is the general message for group 4? You have a lot of resilience, group 4. You've really been through some things. Now, this is interesting because it's coming out as a timeline. So I actually don't feel like these two energies realistically are existing for you in May. That's what's bringing you into sort of a new beginning in May. And you do have these coming out here on the bottom of the deck, as well as Scales of Justice and the High Priestess. So your overall message is that you're moving out of, you maybe have been in a space of, for some time, really stuck yourself in some mending space and really building into specifically trusting self, specifically trusting your own intuition. And when I say analytical space here for you, group 4, is that I don't feel like this is just your standard run-of-the-mill, like, healing journey. No, I feel like this is more so like literally sticking yourself in a situation in which you are sort of like the acidic space of the butterfly when the caterpillar goes into a cocoon and then just like disintegrates and then comes out a butterfly. That is the kind of analyzing that I'm talking about. This is a space of really having dissected self to a degree that is, some would argue, uncomfortable even. But you really move this way because I do feel like there was a situation in your past that was really traumatizing, or not even necessarily like, I hate that word, I'm sorry, traumatizing. It caused you a great deal of pain and put you into a space of real self-reflection, okay? You now moving into May are really balancing that out. And this resilience that you have is paying off. This could very well put you in the month of May in a union energy with a King of Pentacles type energy, being very passionate about that sort of energy could be coming in. This is also talking about the scales of justice, really balancing in your favor. So in your past and in situations that you were dealing with previously, there was an imbalance surrounding equal give and take pretty prominently, where you were giving more than you were receiving, or you were in a space in which your intuition, is specifically in that past space, really got called into question. It was really something that, you may have experienced some manipulation in your past, or some, even some gaslighting from certain energies and situations in your past that really called your own, self, what's the word I'm looking here for? Like self-worth, but more so like self-doubt was something that really kind of tripped you up of not trusting your own intuition. And I think you really worked on that in this space of really being able to see and understand your intuition and self a lot better. Could clarify this 4 of Cups, please? I actually feel like, okay, so you may have been in a space of being a missed opportunity, but it seems as though we're not missing opportunities anymore. Is more so the vibe here, is because this 3 of Cups is like a celebratory card, right? But you could have been in a space of either being on the receiving end of being a missed opportunity for someone, or missing opportunities yourself because of this intuition problem and this area of self-doubt that was kind of running over being able to really trust self, okay? And so now you're moving into this space and in this new beginning, in this new horizon in which you are trusting self more and really seeing the opportunities that are in front of you more often. And actually, also being maybe a little bit more willing to sort of take risks as well, and move forward and kind of jump into the unknown with a little bit more ease, because you do have this sort of trusting nature within self now that you maybe previously didn't have, or this is something that is building in for you in the month of May. Okay, let's get you another general message. Then we'll do love, and then we will close out your reading with a final card from the Rider-Waite Tarot. Okay, what is another message that group 4 needs to hear? I don't know what I was going to say. I'm not used to doing a group 4 space, so What is another message that group 4 needs to speak? Yeah, okay, this isn't a message. This is like an overarching theme, y'all, in all of the collectives, is that I swear in the month of May, there's going to be like information download. You are really going to be seeing things for what they are. Something that was hidden for you is coming into the surface. A lot of information coming in. This is the year of karma, and I think that's really important because anyone who sort of operated previously against you, that karma is coming into fruition relatively quickly in 2024 is kind of the feeling that I have heard a little bit and have it played out, is that this is the year where really things are coming into play and you're understanding things a lot more different, you know, a lot differently in this year, that justice is being served essentially in terms of karma. So something that is coming in for you in the month of May is like something you don't know or something that was unseen is coming into the surface. You're going to have information being downloaded for you. Now you may be moving into a moment within the month of May where you are going to be doing some reflecting. This could potentially be around a union or because of a union. It could be something that sort of, I don't want to use the word trigger because I hate that word. I hate the word hate too. I dislike the word trigger. But it could just be something surfacing that sort of is calling into question a behavior or a pattern that exists because of a union space. Puts you into a little bit of a conflicting state, puts you into a little bit of a moment of reflection. But ultimately, I do feel like you balance it out and move out of it and move into where this information that is coming in is really sort of good karma coming in for you. And so you kind of, it's almost like the reflective state that you have is where you build the awareness of this information that's coming in and helping you to balance that out. This is very vague in this space. I don't actually feel like there's a whole lot of information. Let's see if I can get one more card to come out. Yeah, I think we talked about this in the previous phase. Oh, we have the Empress coming out, sorry. That there could have been some just external conflict that was really tripping you up at one point in terms of that, like being able to trust self. Okay. And so I think there could potentially be a moment, okay, in the month of May where this surfaces a little bit, but you learn something in this space and ultimately come out of it on top. And so you come into this Empress energy, come into this Queen of Pentacles energy where it all balances out, and sort of this moment really actually might be this like external space where this stuff kind of coming in outside of self actually brings in this awareness for you and then puts you into a space of sort of balancing that out and getting yourself into a space of union energy. I do also have the Ace of Pentacles. So like, you know, a seed realistically being planted, and it's sort of like a seed of information where there's going to be a bit of an unveiling. You're going to learn something that's really valuable, that's going to help you in moving forward into this energy in the month of May. Okay, let's get into love for you. What is the love forecast for group 4, please? I'm actually doing some contemplating in regards to love in May group 4. You might actually have some options here. I do feel like you're going to be in a space in which you might actually be really, so there's two sort of ways of looking at this. Okay, one is that this isn't necessarily like you have two people or two options here, but it is more so of sort of zoning and zooming out and really looking and contemplating what it is that you want in love. and what it is that you're looking for. So you are going to be in a bit of a reflective moment in the month of May in terms of love. And I also do feel like you're going to be realistically doing a lot more work on self than you are necessarily going to be working on a connection. On one hand, there is also, you know, an idea of working on a connection as well, and moving into sort of you know, walking away from old paradigms, moving into calmer waters, having a transitionary space in which we're kind of moving forward in terms of either understanding self and connections, trusting self and connections, or moving forward in a space within a connection, and this sort of hard work paying off. You do have the Knight of Cups and the King of Wands coming in. Now, this could be something where somebody operates in this space, or operates in a space that is very passionate, maybe operates with a you know, is providing emotion really realistically in a sense, but it's sort of like coming in that way, and could be coming in with a lot more passion than necessarily like words or action. Or, well, I mean, actually the King of Wands is relatively action oriented in some spaces. I would argue that the King of Swords might be a little bit more concrete in that space, but I don't think that actually the King of Wands is necessarily the opposite of that, because it is a really action oriented space as well. But I do feel like there is going to be a moment in terms of love in which you are really doing a lot of reflecting, necessarily like going to be in a space of really and in some cases, you could even be walking away from sort of an old belief system. Now you also have the Knight of Pentacles coming out as well on the bottom of the deck. And I just opened up the deck to that bad boy as well and had the King of Cups pop out. So interesting for you, Group 4, is like you are in this very like interesting energy that you could very well have several options as well in the month of May. But one thing that's coming in here, like a big hit that's coming in here, is that many of you may not even be necessarily dealing with a connection or dealing with a relationship. And more so, you're in a space of really trying to determine and decide what it is that you realistically want in order to get into this Ten of Pentacles space, and what it is that you are trying to work towards in order to receive the kind of energy. And you're kind of, you know, deciphering between these things. And ultimately, one thing I want to tell you here is that what might be most important to you might be emotional intelligence, as well as like a physical attraction. These two things might be just kind of the forefront of maybe importance for you, and being able to build upon that, and understanding that you want emotionally connected person, and we want to be able to be passionate towards them. And there is some hit here about love also providing some sort of new beginning for you, or even an ending in an old space of moving into a new beginning. There's so many parallels within this space, realistically, Group 4. It's because many of you who are tapping into the first half of this reading, or that energy that you're tapping into the first half, is like it's very self-motivated no matter where you're tapping into it. Now, some of you might be dealing with somebody, but some of you aren't dealing with it at all, and you're sort of walking away from old patterns of behavior and starting new. And then others of you are sort of having already done that. And there are some of you that are moving into either trying to see what you want, or you have options coming in. It doesn't feel like this is just one energy. That's the thing that's coming in here for you, Group 4, is this feels like a lot of energy coming into this space. So there's a whole lot of decision making. And I think that might be why your intuition really is being called into question in the month of May as well, is because there's so many things that are kind of being set before you in the month of May for you to really kind of pick and choose from and decipher between. And it doesn't necessarily mean that this is all connection based, but it is related to that in some way, in which you are sort of making these decisions and these choices because of the experiences that you've had within connections. So it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of decision making that's going to be existing in this space for you. And also, you know, you do have that analytical nature. So one thing is that you could be even viewing a singular situation so complexly that it's like sort of expanding out into all of this, as well as like you have a very complex way of viewing situations and scenarios. And in some respects, you could actually be putting yourself into a space of a little bit of overthinking when it comes to this department as well. So do be careful of that as well, group 4. Okay. What is your general message to close out your reading? Okay, one more final card for group 4, please. You have the Page of Swords and you have the Empress as well as the Hermit. Interesting. Yeah, okay, so and again, like there's this big theme for the entire collective, for all the groups actually, where there's information that is coming into us, information that is being downloaded to us in the month of May. I don't know, this must be a real up current in terms of like expanding horizons coming into the month of May. It's like that bull has hit the ground running, you know what I mean? And it's coming in, it really is. So you are going to develop some sort of information. And I do feel like May for you in particular, group 4, is going to be a lot about reflecting on self. And this is very analytical energy here. This is Virgo energy. That's very analytical energy. Okay. So really it's like, it's kind of looking at things from a very zoomed out way and sort of analyzing every element. I do feel like there is a sense of just fed upness in this space as well. It's like you want to be in this space, sit in this space, sit on your throne and begin, you know, sort of seeing the fruits of your labor paid off, and going to be doing quite a bit of reflecting upon that in the month of May for you, group 4. If you resonated with this, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers, and that's my next goal. I'm really excited about that goal, but also we'd love to have you a part of the conversation. There are faces I see here every day, and I've begun to develop and understand who they are and their personalities, and seeing them come in. I'm like, I even notice when someone isn't around, like they haven't commented in a few days. I'm like, what happened to them? Where did they go? And they'll pop back in. I'm like, oh my God, hi, like, where have you been? So I do feel like I'm really developing a little bit of a circle in this space, and we would love to have you be a part of it. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, do like and subscribe, turn on notifications so that you can be notified for new videos in the future, group 4. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of your day.